Welcome to T Boys TV. We are back again with another Hat Show, obviously episode 314. And in this one, we will be talking about an away win, finally, first time since November. Hopefully, we can build on it. And yeah, obviously, we will talk about the game tomorrow. So yeah, how has your weekend been, Dad? I'm
Yeah,
sure it's been good on top of the football.
yeah, it's all good, mate. Just need this weather to start kicking in properly,
Yeah.
getting warmer, etc. But yeah, no, it's good. We've got a good run of games coming up where quite favourable as well. We play teams near the bottom and things like that. So yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah, especially with the next three in particular. Like they're all at home, and we have been better at home. Obviously, yes, there was a slip up in the last game, but I still felt the overall performance was good. It was just the individual stuff in that game. So, and you look at a game like tomorrow, I think it is a good opportunity to bounce back, after the last home game. I'll be honest, especially with, Exeter's form. Obviously, I knew it's poor anyway, but it's very, very poor. But obviously, we'll get into that. First thing we'll talk about is the away win, obviously against Wickham. Now, going into it, we weren't really confident, rightly so, because of our away form. There was that part of, you, Dad, expecting us not to lose because of, the record at Adams Park, which obviously remains unbeaten throughout the whole time. But yeah, I was a bit nervous, I'll be honest, because how we've been away and everything like that. And also seeing how we have been in the last two away games. Yes, they've been draws, but if you look at the performances, the second half performances in particular, have not been great. And I did say if we play like how we did against Doncaster, we'll lose, but we didn't. We didn't. All right, we didn't start off too great in the game. They had a few chances. There was a moment Naismith, he passed it to Saville. For me, he should have just cleared it away. Sort of put Saville under pressure. They had they had a few chances. One hit the side netting. Keeley made a good save. And they did have their chances, but after that, as soon as we reverted to going quite long, long balls and that, it worked. It did work in the game, and we looked better. In terms of the lineup, it was actually a 3-4-1-2, which was quite interesting. Palmer was actually like up front with Wells, which was quite interesting. Clark as a cam, which was good to see. Lawrence and Kadoa as the wing backs. Like I said on my match reaction, I had no problem with Kadoa as a wing back because he's shown under Bloomfield he can play there when Bloomfield used to play like that a lot. Back three was Naismith, Hakeem, Longwick. Let's be honest, we were all sceptical when Naismith comes straight back in. Yes, obviously Anderson's, injured and things like that. And obviously we don't want to rush him and things like that. But I was a little bit surprised Johnson wasn't in. Now, I know there was a game recently, I can't remember what game it was, but he wasn't in the lineup then, and I was a bit sceptical. But to be fair to Naismith, other than the start, he was decent, but I'm not going to say, he's back or anything like that. He needs to be consistent. And that is the thing. Like, even when he has, and I've said it in my reaction, even when he has added better games this season, he still had 50 moments throughout the game. And again, like I say, the start of the game wasn't too great from him. Not just him, there was a few others that weren't so great and weren't so great throughout the whole game. We've got to be honest. But, like I say, as soon as we went long, we done well. We got a corner, great cross. I'll tell you what, the set pieces in terms of the corners overall, except the last two games. The last this game and the Reading game. Sorry, so two of the last three. Other than that, the set pieces haven't been too great. They've been quite frustrating. But in this game, I mean, they're brilliant. They won us the game, in terms of taking the chances through them. Walsh, we've seen that he can cross the ball, like I said in my reaction, Leighton Orient game, away game is a great example of that. And it was great delivery to Naismith, and everyone was stunned to see him score. But, good header. And he like he said in his reaction on the Luton one, he needs to get more goals. He needs to try and chip in from set pieces with the more goals. And, he just needs to be consistent. Like I say, he needs to be consistent and take out their moments. I know he can be, feeling confident in terms of like going forward, but sometimes it does cost us a little bit, I feel, trying to be that ball playing centre back going forward and things like that. And obviously, like I say, that pass to Saville, it was a bit, bit silly for me. He should have just cleared it away, or just got it up there, because like I say, as soon as we reverted to going long, it worked. It worked in this game. And I thought Lawrence done well as a wing back as well. To be fair, I was a little bit skeptical of it. I felt he obviously had to play, given his form, but I was a bit skeptical because he's more of an attacker and things like that. But he done well. He had a good game as well. And like I say, we get the goal, and it's a good header from Naismith. Great cross though from Liam Walsh, and set pieces. Like, it's good to see they're finally coming off that, because as we know, when we was in the Prem, and throughout that season of going up, and you look at the 2 goals against Sunderland in the playoffs, we were really good at them.
Yeah, decent lineup. Change things up. We have to try different things if it's not working. Three at the back. I didn't really want to see it, but it actually seems to be working at the moment. And we kind of forced into it anyway with injuries, so it makes sense. And just changing it up and mixing it up on the pitch as well. We weren't just trying to play them, play through them, etc. We was mixing it up, basically working on their weak points and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Hakeem was great, but set piece. Been waiting. We know they both got good deliveries. Savoy has as well. So it's good to see that. Extremely, they probably should have defended both of them, obviously better, but they were so precise that they couldn't really do a lot about him. So no, a bit of a shaky start, a little bit, but I've seen much worse. It's the fact that we grew out of that, and once we got the first goal, the different mentality come on than previous games, and even them 2 draws, which weren't exceptional, but Huddersfield drew 0-0 with Port Vale as well the other day. They obviously gained a little bit of confidence from them, just considering losing certain games and that. But good goal. Decent first half, and the second half was like, what we got, just keep at it, just keep doing what you was doing. They're going to come at you, which they did for the first 5-10 minutes, but we nullified them, and then just took control really. Palmer was excellent again.
Yeah, I mean, going into when we go 2-0 up, just because of how we are, and how we feel as fans, I was sort of thinking, because of the way Wickham were, like, obviously we were good, but they weren't as good as I expected them to be at the same time. But then again, we nullified them to that. So, got to give the boys credit. I was thinking, let's try and get another goal, because you sort of saw, before the end of that half, they weren't great, really. Like, the sort of heads were lost, in my opinion. It looked like it. And I felt, let's try and get another one. Let's try and hurt them. And, we go 2-0 up, and I'm saying on the watch long, good. Let's just keep that going, And like you say, they had a little bit of a spell, but other than that, I thought we were really good. I thought we were really good throughout this game until, like, the end, you could say, like, towards the end. But even then, there should have never been 8 added minutes. I mean, I don't know what they're getting that from. A lot of times when there is a lot of added minutes in our games, like, I can understand it. But this game, I don't know why there was that much. There should have been no more than 4, in my opinion. And even then, that's at a push. But we managed to obviously see it out, and obviously made some changes. The positive was obviously seeing Elijah in the squad as well, and obviously you see the cheers and the boost. When he come on, can tell he's very rusty, as you would expect. But like I've said in the match reaction, you got to build his minutes up now. So obviously he come on, with a couple of minutes, and obviously all the stupid added time, and then just build his way up. So like tomorrow night, like I said, aim to play him for 10, I would say, and then Stockport 15. Just build it up like that. That's what you've got to do with him. And then, I still stand by it. I think he will go at the end of the season, because I do think he is too good for this level. But at the same time, if he can give us something, until the end. But again, we can't expect too much because of how long he has been out. But like I say, just build the minutes up, and hopefully, before the last, couple of games, hopefully more, he'll be at a position where he'll be able to contribute more. And then hopefully we can actually go 2 up front. I didn't see it exactly, but a lot of people said to me about Wilshere saying about Devontae Cole and how he wants him to form partnerships. So basically saying two up front. On that game the other day, obviously we did go with Palmer and Wells up front. And it did work. Let's be honest, it did actually work. And initially when I saw the lineup, I thought it was a 3-5-1-1. It'd have made more sense, at the time looking at it with Palmer behind Wells. But as the game went on, obviously it was different and it did work. A lot of people, rightly so, have been sceptical of Saville and Walsh together next to each other. But to be fair, it worked. The only thing I would say was disappointed with Saville was that yellow card. I felt that was a bit of a annoying challenge to do. I thought Walsh was pretty good in the game. Obviously Saville, good delivery. But I was a bit sceptical of him on the corners only because, like, you look at the Reading game and he scored. He was in the box, so I was thinking maybe have him in the box. But if he can, do deliveries like that, then we'll keep that going. And set pieces, like I say, the corners have been very frustrating this season. Let's be honest, But this game they worked, and there's obviously people, not Luton fans, but neutral goals, set piece, set. But you look at most football now. That's how the goals are scored. I mean, you look at Arsenal in the Premier League, at the top of the league, probably going to win the league because City are not looking like the same team. I mean, they score set pieces a lot. I don't care how we score, as long as we score. That's how I see it. And, that was a big, big win. Like, we needed that, for the confidence. And, yeah, there is probably a part of it where, we have a good record at Wickham anyway, but we need to follow it up now. And like we said at the start of this, we've got 3 home games now. Throughout the season, under Wilshere anyway, bar Mansfield and Reading, even though, like I say, the performance against Reading was good, we've been good at home. So we need to keep that going. And obviously, you look at tomorrow's game, like I say, I think it is a favourable game. I don't want to underestimate teams because you fall into that trap, but it's a completely different game, in my opinion, to when we went to their place. They had obviously, a good manager, obviously now at Wigan. We're away, still struggling away and that, and yeah, I just think it's completely different. When you look at their form, I mean, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And they have suffered with what we've suffered with in recent years in terms of no new manager bounce, so that is a thing as well, like where you just got to capitalise. Like, their player Wareham, he's definitely a player we've got to watch out for. I mean, he's got 16 goals this season. Fair play to him, given the position they're in. But it's a good opportunity, I feel, tomorrow night. Like, it is, to try and keep the momentum. And like you say, Dad, obviously Huddersfield dropped 2 points, and we're only 5 points off it now. That, again, it shows the inconsistencies of this league. But, if we can get a run going, we can be up there. And like I say, we got the 3 home games, and they are, decent games. I do think, like Stockport and Peterborough, they will be tough games. They won't be easy games. And obviously, I don't feel tomorrow will be easy because of the way they'll play Exeter. But they're games we can win, and that is the thing. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I did say this on the watch long the other day. Like, obviously, we've been good at home, like I say, under Wilshere, but I mean, I'll ask you the question now, Dad. Would you like that these games are at home, or because we've got an away win, would you like us to have another away game if you could pick?
No, it is what it is. Like, I don't mind it. It gives us a little bit of cushion to get some form going, and if we can get them, we'll be full of confidence for the next away game, which is what, Wimbledon.
Yeah. After the international break,
they've dropped off from where they were. They started the season off. They're not bad. They'll make it difficult for us, but again, I think we should have enough to beat them. Especially if you are improving on that home form and you're pushing them points up, then you've got to kind of be going for it then as well. So yeah, and then I think we've got Rotherham away.
Yeah, we should be winning that. I don't care how it is. They're poor. They're non-Bay FC. I'll be honest.
Mate, I think our toughest away game for the rest of the games is the last game of the season.
Bolton, yeah.
So we'll see where we are by then. But yeah, let's get into the player ratings.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's get into them player ratings. So in goal, Keeley, obviously, like I say, when it was 0-0, he'd done a good save, straight at him, but it was powerful. And again, I felt sorry for him not getting a clean sheet. I mean, you look at their goal, and like I say, I still stand by it. We should have closed the player down. Good finish, but we should have closed him down. because that does give them momentum. And all right, they didn't get another goal, but if they did, that would have been an absolute joke because they didn't deserve it. They were only good at the end of the game, really. Let's be honest. But yeah, Keeley was good in the game. Like say, when he had to be called upon, and obviously there wasn't short goal kicks, which was good to see. And hopefully we can continue to not do that because I don't like it. I never have and I never will, to be honest. So yeah, Keeley was all right. I'll give him a 6.5.
I'll give him a 7. He was confident again. Didn't have too much to do, but like I say, with the goal kicks and things like that, yeah, just better, um, more effective. So yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah. Keeley 8 says Paul. Moving on we'll go over to Longwick. I thought he was really good in right centre back, to be fair. But again, like I say, when he's playing centre back, he does well there. He has shown good elements. Obviously, he's not played there a lot throughout the season, but when he has, he's stepped up and he's done well. And I wouldn't mind, persisting with him there in a back three, to be quite honest with you, at this moment in time. So, yeah, Longwick was good for me. I'll give him a 7.
7.5, decent.
There you go. 7.5 says Ben for Keeley. Jackie's also gone with the same. Moving on to Hakeem, like I said, man of the match. He was brilliant. He was a colossus, and like I said in my match reaction, next season he has to at least be in that leadership group, if not the captain, because there's a high possibility Clark goes. I'm still 50-50 on Naismith, if I'm going to be honest. More so, probably think we should get rid of him. I will be honest. And yeah, he was just so good. And there was a moment where he's like patting Naismith on the head, like them leadership qualities. He was absolutely brilliant in this game. And again, similar to like when Johnson come back, lack of football this season,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And he looked really, really good, So yeah, man of the match for me. I'll give him a 9.
Yeah, he's man of the match for me. Give him 8.5. Just like I say, just everywhere, winning the balls, and he doesn't panic either. Like you can see, and that's one of the things that when he was injured, when we first signed him, a question was asked to Gary Sweet, and he said a few good things about him, about his personality, and you'll see why, you know, we signed him when he was injured because he'll make it up when we, and he's let's be fair, he's spot on so far. So yeah, I'll give him 8.5, but he's my man of the match as well.
Yeah, so there is first 2 votes from us this season. Obviously, he's had a lack of games, and like I say, I always go back to it. Even his debut, Northampton, come on, he cleared it off the line. He just gets right in there, and he's a good player, and you can see why the Rotherham fans were raving about him. And like I say, he could play 3 different positions. I said it in the reaction. I wouldn't be surprised if he could play more than that. He's that type of player that could probably play elsewhere, like where he's asked and that. So, yeah, definitely man of the match in our opinions. Longwick 8 says Ben. Paul's gone 7.5. Hakeem 9 as well. 7.5 says Jackie. Good to see you in here, Mick. Hope you're well, mate. Hakeem 9 and Paul says 9.5 man of the match. Yeah, absolutely. Naismith, let's say shaky start, but he did get a goal and he just needs to be consistent, when he plays. Will be interesting to see if he stays in, because he was good, but then again, quick turnaround, will we maybe change it up? It'll be interesting. But yeah, I'll give Naismith a 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5. I mean, Flash scores his game a 9 man of the match. That changed from the other day because he was, I think he was 8.8 as well. But no, he got the goal. Couple of dodgy moments that, you got to take them into account still. But after that, the way we were playing, we weren't put under too much pressure, and he done the basic stuff right. So yeah, I'll give him a 7.5.
Yeah, Paul's gone with the same. Mick says it's good. Good to hear, mate. Naismith 7. Yeah, fair enough, mate. That's understandable. And then moving on to Kadawa, I thought he was really good as a wing back. Like I said, he has played well as a wing back under Bloomfield. The Wigan game is the game I always go back to. And yeah, he actually had a shot. Well, I think he might have had 2 actually. He had one that went just over roof of the net, very unlucky. And his brother, who's a boxer, was there, so it's good to see. The pictures after and them celebrating and that as well. And yeah, You know, he's done well against Wickham both times this season. Obviously, did score, two in the last game, but yeah, got close to scoring and defended really well at times. I felt slide tackles were good, and he was getting stuck in. So again, I want to see him continue to be there, to be honest, because he still goes forward and he'll still make them chances happen, and he can defend pretty well. So yeah, I'll give him a 7.5.
I'll give him a 7. I thought he was obviously better than his previous game. He's making that effort. He had that shot, could have passed it, but it was a good shot. And yeah, defended pretty well, like you say. You know, showing a different element to his game because we've seen him predominantly attacking. So yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah. Jackie's gone 6.5. No one saw Naismith scoring. Yeah, and I literally looked at Twitter after when they put the goals, and everyone's like, "What? What's happened here?" Yeah, I was surprised myself. Kadoa 7.5 says Ben. Jackie's gone with the same, and so has Paul as well. Moving on to Lawrence. Again, I thought he was pretty good there, on that left side. Was doing well. I think did he earn us the corner for the first goal?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure he did, yeah, possibly. But either way, he was earning us corners. I think he got us a few free kicks, and he was decent again. Maybe not as good as he has been, the last 2 games, but he's still been all right, to be fair to him. So I'll give him a 6.5.
I'll give him a 7. I thought obviously he's played a lot of games recently. Obviously, he's always a threat, especially against a weaker opposition. So I don't know if I keep him. No, I don't know if I'll keep him. I might give him a little bit of a break. But yeah, decent. But yeah, probably need to give him a little rest, I'd say. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, hopefully tomorrow we actually have Bramwell in the squad tomorrow. I know obviously it works not having him in the squad, but it could do with him, coming back, managing him, it could work. Especially like say if the amount of games Lawrence has played. Again, I wouldn't mind Lawrence starting and then actually having Bramwell to change in the game tomorrow, especially if we do play with the wing backs again, which I think we should. Lawrence 7.5 says Ben. Lawrence 7 says Mick. Paul's gone 7. And Jackie's also gone 7 as well. Moving on we'll go over to George Saville. Like I say, I thought he had a good game other than the yellow card, which was frustrating. And for me, it does knock his rating down a little bit, but great cross for the goal, the second goal. And yeah, I'll give him a 7.5, Saville.
Yeah, I'll give him 7. I thought it was decent. He does a lot of things that people don't really notice. He won a lot of duels. He had a card. He went in for he got the ball, but he just follow through. You can't do that nowadays, which is a bit of bollocks. Do you know what I mean? Unless the player's like proper taken out for me. Got the assist as well. Showing why they want him in that position. We've played Palmer there. We played Clark there, but ultimately, really, if you're going to play like that, he needs to be in, doesn't he? So yeah, I'll give him 7.5.
I do agree. He needs to be in it, especially in the away games. For me, he's more suited to away games. Like, obviously, he can play at home games, obviously, but like, I think them type of games are just to break the lines in terms of
That's That's it. We
yeah.
say all the time.
And he's the only one at the club that is that type of player.
Yeah.
In terms of the midfielders, because obviously Sandal might be, but I'm on about ones that we've seen. The others are more so attacking. So you do expect that sort of different element from him. And that is why I say play him more so in these away games, because then you can have someone next to him, whether it's Walsh, Palmer, that could do the attacking. And then obviously you got Clark higher up as well on top of that. So, yeah. Saville 7 says Ben. 7 as well says Mick. Ample. Jackie's gone slightly higher, 7.5. Moving on to Walsh. I thought he had a good game. I thought he had a good game again. Obviously, got the assist for the first goal. Brilliant delivery. And like I said, I don't mind him on corners at all. And yeah, he was decent. Some good forward passes. So yeah, Walsh, I'll give a 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5. Just obviously he's playing a bit further back, but done everything he needs to do. Um, and they because they weren't really pressuring us in midfield. Um, you know, it's kind of an easier game for him. Do you know what I mean? Didn't have to not work as hard, but look for them kind of passes and make things happen. Do you know what I mean? Um, and again, we know he's better. He's good sometimes away at that, but he'll get nullified because they know what he's capable of. But at home, he's obviously better. But yeah, 7.5.
Yeah, he reminds me of Palmer in that aspect. Like when they play in that deeper role, like the home games, it works, but
Mm.
away sometimes they, do it get exposed for it and things. Walsh 7.5 says Ben. 7.5 says Mick. Paul is also gone with a 7.5, and so is Jackie as well. So all gone same there. Moving on to Clark. I mean, bit of a difficult game, to give him a high rating. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, obviously, he is allowed to do this. Have these sort of not so great performances because how good he's been, for us. But last couple of games, he hasn't quite been the same player. Let's be honest. So yeah, I will. I won't be too harsh. I'll just give him a 6.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's interesting because he's playing that role, that forward sort of role. But yeah, maybe just needs a little bit of a rest. You know what I mean? He's not been bad, but just you know you expect more touches from him and making things happen. But he didn't obviously need to do that so much. But he's getting shifted around in position as well, so maybe he needs to get used to that. I know he can play there, but yeah, it's quite interesting. But we'll see. Like, I'd probably rest him for the next game, bring him in for Stockport definitely. But we'll see. Yeah, I'll just give him a 6.
And the thing is, as well, he played 90 minutes. I think the last 2 games, I've said like maybe take him off for like Richards because I know Richards
Mm.
is better centrally, or even like Van Den Berg, someone like that, someone who's more attacking. And that's the thing. We haven't got anyone else that's sort of defensive minded other than Savile. Obviously, Sandal's still out, so yeah, I think he does need a rest. I remember Wilshere saying about, he sort of, in a way, doesn't want to rest him because, like, what he can do, he's a player you need to keep on. But I think with his, like, dip in form, I think if there's the time to do it now, whether you start him again, but then take him off, or, like you say, Dad, give him a full rest, I think he does need that. And he, like I say, he's allowed to have these not so great performances because he's been good for us. He's been so good for us, especially this season as well. I mean, he is up there in terms of the goals, isn't he? Joint top with
It's his
Adoa.
highest scoring season potentially.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it is. I think it is. So yeah, he is allowed to do that. Walsh has been great since his red card running. Yeah, totally agree with you, mate. Totally agree. And that's why it was so good in the game against Northampton where he finally got off the mark because he did deserve it. There has been games where he's got close to scoring. A lot of them at the back end of last season. But yeah, it's good to see. And he obviously has been racking up the assists as well, which is good as well. Clark 7 says Ben. Same with Mick. 6.5 says Paul. Jackie's gone with 7. And then moving on to, we'll go over to Palmer first. Yeah, I thought he was good again. I mean, the header, when you look back at it, it's actually quite hard to do what he did in that position. Obviously, done the shithouse celebration in front of the Wickham fans, but fair play to him. 2 out of 2. Predominantly at Luton so far, he's been good. So it's good to see he's getting the goals now on top of that, and hopefully it can just keep going. He can keep contributing with goals and assists and things like that. And yeah, like I've said, if we can be consistent, I know we've done the contract celebration, but I'm not sure if we go back to our old ways, as we know what we like in recent years. I'm not sure if he will stay, but if we can be consistent and give it a right good go at the back end of the season, I think he will be at us next season. Like I said in my match, actually, he definitely won't be at Hull. I know that for sure. But yeah, let's see what happens. But yeah, good to see him getting 2 out of 2. I'll give him an 8.
Yeah, definitely an 8. He's obviously keep saying too good for this level. just takes it past players with it. He's really enjoying his football. That's it, you know, and hopefully that rubs off on other players. I think he has already. Um, and yeah, the number of positions he can play in is just good, you know. So especially at this level, do you know what I mean? Maybe putting him up front in the championship, you know, it's not really going to work necessarily. But in this league, you know, he runs past, like say, 2 or 3 players consistently. You know, defenses are scared of him. Makes sense. Yeah, 8 definitely. You know, looking to keep him. You know, he's in his peak of his career as
Mm.
well. And if he's happy to stay and that, why not?
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. If we can like have a good run in, even if we don't go up, which obviously I don't think we will, but if we can have a good run in and you know try and be up there, I think he
Get
will.
close, yeah, get close. Too little, too late. You know, I wouldn't mind that
Yeah,
so much because we know that the amount of points we have dropped from you know stupidity or poor management and this, that, and the other,
mm.
we've easily been in the playoffs and we've had a poor season. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, we have
and
definitely.
you know,
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind that. That's
no,
what go on. You know,
no,
Liverpool.
exactly. Because he'll look at that and he'll go, okay, we were close in the end. You know, so I think he will stay. Like I say, he definitely won't be at Hull. I know that for sure because it just won't work out. They've got players ahead of him, and you know, obviously wants to be closer to home and things like that. But yeah, hopefully we, like I say, if we can be consistent, I think he'll be at the club next season. To be honest, so we will see on that. Palmer 8 says Ben. Palmer 9. Yeah, it was lovely. It scored for us regarding Walsh. Palmer 8 says Jackie. Palmer 10, love the guy, says Mick. Yeah, I know. No, I know he has. But yeah, I just think we need to be consistent, like in terms of
Yeah,
like
because he could get better offers. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. And that's what I mean. Like, and when he did do the
Say
contract
for instance,
celebration,
yeah,
we 1-0 up, you know,
yeah,
and there's confidence and yeah.
you know, Leicester go down. Um,
Yeah, which is
and it's
looking
back
likely,
on
I'll be
kind of,
honest.
it depends on, like you say, like if he's
Like if it's not us, I can see it being a London club.
yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, like it sounds like you know he wants to.
Mm.
He obviously gets on with the players, you know, and things like that. So that's the kind of character you want, really, you know. So yeah, I think we'll be able to keep him anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully. Yeah, want Palmer to stay 100%. You can tell he is class. Yeah, no, he is, especially for this level. We've seen that. And then moving on to Wells, again, Wells struggled, similar to the Doncaster game, I will be honest. And I can't really think of, did he have a shot at the game? I can't even think, to be honest.
And then he got unfortunately got injured,
Yeah.
overplayed. I'll give him a 6. He was overplayed, like definitely. Even if like he's recovered or what, just rest him, man. Like
Mm,
obviously don't start Elijah, but
no, no.
yeah, when you know, but we've got them on. Cole needs to start. Should give him a rest. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, what I don't think has helped, and I sort of said it in the last episode, is when he was on the goal scoring form from the Burton game to the Northampton game, we just like took him out. And I know he's older and you've got to manage him, but I don't think that's helped as well because when he come back in, he just weren't as good. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, but yeah, like I say, it looks like he's injured. Nothing's come out today, but Wilshere obviously got asked and said it didn't look too great and all that. So we'll see. But yeah, you got to start cold. There's no one else, is there? Obviously, Elijah's coming back, so you're not going to play him. That would be very, very silly to start him. So yeah, I agree. We've got to start Cole, in my opinion. And you could give Cole and Palmer a go up front, and hopefully. And I said it before we went on air. If we get a penalty tomorrow or whenever, say for example, when Cole still hasn't scored, just give it to him. I know Clark's very good at them. 9 times out of 10. And he's most likely will be on the pitch if we get one. But just for confidence, to build on that, because that's for me, that's all he needs. Like I actually think his movement in games is good. Like, and I said that in the Northampton game when he come on, the way he was, moving their defender out on the left side and, exploiting them. But he just needs that goal or assist for me. As soon as he does that, he'll have confidence for me. And you even see it with Wells. I'd say from the Burton game onwards, and he got the goals. He, there's confidence there. So, yeah, that's what I would be doing. Yeah, 100% we do, mate. Totally agree. Wells 6 says Jackie. Wells tried 7. Wells 6. Ben's also gone with a 6 as well. Yeah. Yeah. Did I give my rating? I don't even know if I did for Wells. Either way, yeah, if I did, I'll probably give a 5.5. I'm going to be honest. And then the subs, Cole, come on. I'll give Cole a 6. I thought his movement was all right, but like I say,
I
he just
thought,
needs
definitely strength. Won us a couple of fouls. It's difficult. He needs to start, like I say, probably up front as well. It's a matter of time anyway. 6.5. Johnson 6.5. Come on, shored up the defense. Come on. We went 4 at the back, I think. And Elijah, 10. No, do you know what I mean? Just for coming on, but yeah, obviously a 6, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be a 6 for Elijah. But it's great to see him come on. Cole 6, it says Ben 6.5. No, I wouldn't say being optimistic here, does. I mean, it's a fact. If we win the next 3, we're in the playoff picture. I think even if we win the next 2, I mean, what's 5 points? So,
we'd normally say it's not, but other teams keep slipping up.
And Huddersfield have got Lincoln tomorrow.
And when you're playing, Stockport at home with a very good home record and things like that, it's in it makes it possible.
Yeah.
We got Northampton at home as well.
Yeah. After the Virtue Trophy, so let's hope we win that because they're going to
be. We have improved, and the away form, if we Wimbledon, that'd be tough, but if we can get a win there, let's see. But yeah, no, it's crazy, but it shows you that generally, if you're on it in this league,
yeah,
you've got a great chance of getting promoted. So.
I mean, it's different because obviously I'm talking about a different position in the league, right? But you look at that Cardiff Lincoln game. Lincoln obviously won that, and then from there on in, they've continued, to go on a winning run, and now they
beat them twice.
Points clear.
Cardiff twice,
Yeah.
Season.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did because I remember watching that game, the recent game, and they said, "Oh, yeah, Lincoln won the other time."
Yeah, we got a point against them.
Yeah, and to be honest, we should have won that. And that would have been their unbeaten run done at that period, So, yeah, it's a bit of a shame. And that's the annoying thing. Like, we know we can perform well. And like I say, I definitely agree with you in terms of the home games. We've definitely turned the form around there.
I don't think if we win the rest of our home games, we've got a great chance, yeah. Obviously, you pick up some. Bolton, that's going to be tough.
That's not a game.
We got Mansfield. I can't remember if it's home or away.
That'll be away because we played them at home. Remember Wilshire's first game?
But other than that, I think we've got Rotherham away, Wimbledon away.
Yeah, it's like Dad says here. They're running on paper.
It's quite good. It's quite good. Because also, give it, what was it, week 43 or 44, there's teams up there that play each other, like Lincoln are playing Stockport, like Stevenage are playing like Red. Do you know what I mean? They're all playing each other, and I think we've got Mansfield away. So if we win that, someone's going to drop points there. Have a look into it, guys. But yeah,
if not both teams,
it could make or break the season basically.
Johnson 6 says Ben. Johnson 7, Elijah 7. Come on. 6 says Jackie. Harry, good to see you in here, mate. You'll beat Stockport, you reckon? Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't think we'll lose because we're at home. Yeah, they are. They are shocking. They are shocking. And that is why I'm hoping as well going into that Stockport game. I said it to my dad off there. I'm hoping Stockport win tomorrow. They should. I mean, they're playing Northampton at home. They should be winning that. And Huddersfield, like I say, I've got Lincoln. Yes, they're at home, but Lincoln are just on really good form at the moment. So I think Lincoln will win that, which means by the time we play Stockport on the weekend, they'll be in the playoffs. I think Huddersfield will lose. So hopefully it's a stage where obviously there's still pressure on, Stockport in that game, but I don't want it to be a game where, say they're not in the playoffs and we're not either. Like, I'd rather they're sort of in there. Like when we played Bradford, for example, they were in there at that period. And I think that also benefited us to proper go for it sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. Yeah, 10 highlighter for me, it's going to be our lucky charm. Yeah, obviously, like I say, you've got to manage his minutes. So, and I'll be honest, we can't expect him to like just be firing straight. I mean, you did see the little glimpses, and again, he's obviously not played since Leeds last season, so you expect that. But like, there was a few moments like his touch weren't quite there, so you can tell he is very rusty. So, you've got to just manage his minutes and things like that. So, yeah, that's what I will say on that. But yeah, they are the player ratings. So Akeem gets 2 votes, his first 2 votes this season. It will be very interesting now with him hopefully going to stay fit, touch wood, how many he can get at the end. If he keeps performing like that, he'll definitely get more. But yeah, in terms of the points, so Jackie, you are now top, as you said, 2-1. And you did say you're going to keep saying 2-1 until it works. And it did work. Ben, you also got the score correct, so fair play, mate. And then Dave and Harry, you gained a point. So the points as it stands, I'm on 22. You're on 17, Dad. Jackie, you're on 23, which now means you're top, like I say. Rich is on 14. Paul's on 18. Stephen's on 17. Phil's on 9. Darth Vader's on 18. Ben, you're on 18. Terry's on 9. Dave's on 11. Blitz is on 17. Chat GPT is on 17. Jamie's on 21. Harry, you're on 8. Lewis is on 9. And Ryan's on 7. So they are the points as it stands. So, Jackie, you're back at the top. After a few weeks of not being at the top. And, yeah, I said 2-1 to them. So, yeah, and there was that part of you, Dad, that wanted to say 2-1.
Yeah, I did, but, I was being a bit cautious.
Rightly so.
Like the previous 2 results right, which bumped me up, but, it is what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, moving on to the game tomorrow, Exeter. Now, like we said, we do feel it is a favourable game to bounce back in terms of the home, obviously the last home game. And yeah, like I say, they're poor form. They haven't won since the 24th of January. They haven't won underneath the new manager. Obviously, they've got a few players we've got to watch out for. Like I say, Wareham, 16 goals. Even though he doesn't really start, Mendes Gomez, who comes on, he did come on in the last game against us, and he did look all right on that left-hand side, to be honest. Obviously, we were very poor that day, especially in the second half. I feel the first half was okay, but the second half was not great. And yeah, I don't think we had a shot on target in that game. But like I say, I expect a different game, being the fact we're at home, like I say, obviously a different manager for them. Obviously, we have played them already at home this season. And that was with a rotated side as well. And we won pretty convincingly and we looked good that night. Obviously, we done a watch along to that, Dad. So, it is a game I think we can bounce back in and win, to be honest. And I have spoke to a few Exeter fans. They're not really confident, as you would expect, given their run and given how we are at home. Like I say, we was good in the Reading game. It was just the individual mistakes. We actually performed really well. And yeah, it was just a shame that we done what we did, to be honest. And yeah, we would have definitely got something out of that game if that didn't happen. So good opportunity to bounce back under the lights. There will be a lot of confidence from the other day. Winning away as well, that will help. I think the fans, there will be quite a decent atmosphere because of that. And it is under the lights, like I say. So it's a good opportunity for us in the game. But yeah, in terms of the lineups for this game, obviously we've gone slightly different. So I'll start off with mine. So in this game, I do think we have to play a back 3 again. I will be honest, because it did work. I know we're at home and we don't really start off with a back 3. We have moved to a back 3 in games, more so in the cup games, I believe it was. But still, I think we got to stick with something that worked. So as for me, obviously, as you can see there, I've gone Keeley in goal, obviously. I've actually decided to put Naismith to the bench for this one. Quick turnaround. And yeah, I want to see Johnson start. I want to see Johnson start as a left centre-back. Hakeem, he's got to play. No question about that. Through the middle again for me because he was unreal. Longwick, like I say, he was good, so I'd keep him there. And then I've gone with, as you can see, a 3-2-4-1 formation. So Palmer and Walsh, I would give them a go in this role. Let Palmer go forward more so in the game, personally. And then if we're in a position where, I don't know, we've got a couple of goals, I'd then bring on Saville just to shore it up. But if we're in a position where we're like, say, for example, I don't know, only 1-0 up or 2-1 up, then I wouldn't be looking to bring him on straight away. I will be honest. So, yeah, Palmer for me. I've kept Lawrence in, but I would like to have Bramwell on the bench for this game and then take Lawrence off because, like we said earlier, he has played a lot of games, but he has played well, so I'll keep him in to start. Kadoa on the right, obviously stick with that. Clark and Richards next to each other because when they have played well in the cup games together, and Richards is better centrally. I feel when he's played out wide, it doesn't work, and especially with how Gids was the other day, I think you have to play him. There is that part similar to Lawrence with Clark where maybe you could rest him, bring him on. But yeah, I would still start Clark, but then I would take him off. And I've said that last two games, I'd like to see him come off. But if he has like a not so great game again, I think you've got to do it. You've got to do it. Bring on Van den Berg or, someone like that. I don't mind. And then Cole up front because I don't really know what's going on with Wells. And like you said earlier, Dad, if he's, not proper ready in terms of like he is back, but obviously he's had that injury, then I wouldn't really risk it, to be honest. And yeah, like I say, even though Clark 9 times out of 10 is good at penalties, if we get like a penalty in this game, I'd give it to Cole. I'd try and let him score for a bit of confidence and build on it from there, really. But it could easily be like the two up front again in terms of Palmer and Cole. I could see that. But yeah, that's what I've gone with for this game. I think if it's not that lineup in terms of that formation exactly, I don't mind. But for me, we have to be playing three at the back again because it worked. It definitely worked. And my problem with the right back, obviously, we haven't got a seat like a, natural one anyway. But even the games where we have played four at the back, the right side's been exposed a lot. I mean, you only have to go to the last home game against Reading. Jones not too great there, So yeah, for me, that's what I'd be saying for this game. As for your lineup in this game, Dad, I will just get it up on the screen. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of my lineup as well. Obviously, let me know what you think of this lineup. Go on, Dad.
Yeah, so Keeley gone with the back three as well. I probably would keep Naismith in. Exeter. We should, he should be performing against them, continuing that, giving that opportunity to do that as well. We've got Johnson on the bench and things like that. So maybe Anderson, who knows? Longwick, I'd put him in the middle. I think Hakeem as well on that right side is decent. In the last home game, I think he was decent in that position. So I've made a couple of changes like on the wings. I've brought in Bramwell. I think he will be. I'd rest Lawrence. Bramwell didn't even feature in the last squad as well. We didn't expect him to be back so soon. Hopefully he's all right and things. But yeah, I'll be looking to start him, especially at home. He done bits for us and can continue to do so. Did he score against Exeter? I'm not too sure. Maybe.
I can't really remember who scored in that trophy. I can't remember.
Maybe a bit harsh on Kadua, but I feel I like Morris. I think he deserves to start. He's been pretty good, especially at home. Walsh, stick with Walsh in midfield and Saville. I think I've took Clark out. I'll put him on the bench. I'm going to try. I'll try Richards there against his former club as well. He'd definitely be itching. Hasn't really featured. He has featured a little bit in luck, but he ain't done so well. But this is a type of game that he can thrive in, I believe. And then I've gone with the two up front, which we kind of, Palmer, I'm putting him up there alongside Cole. I think that could be a pretty good unexpected, but good partnership. So, yeah, that's what I'm going with 3-4-1-2.
Yeah, I do think we will play them too, to be honest, up front. And yeah, I agree with Richards. You know, for me, he's got to play centrally. I just think when he's out wide, he does struggle. And Morris and obviously Bramall, like you say, went in the squad, but Morris didn't even come on the other day. Same with Richards. So they're definitely players that could start, and I wouldn't be surprised. And to be honest, I wouldn't really be disappointed if they did, because I know, they're obviously good players in that. So yeah, it could be. I do think Naismith probably does start again, as much as I haven't gone with it. But like I said earlier, he needs to have another good game. He needs to follow it up, like the rest of the team. He needs to follow it up. Finally breaking the away curse, if you want to call it like that. So we need to be consistent. That, especially with 3 home games. I mean, that's a great opportunity. Like I say, with how good we've been at home throughout the season. Under Wilshere, we've only lost 2 games under him at home. So we need to make the most of this, especially with Exeter's form. Tomorrow we have to really make this count. So yeah. As for other comments, Jackie says so happy. Unlucky. Daz, she says, let's get the win, 100%. Jackie saying I really like that lineup. Yeah, like I say, it probably won't be that, but if we gotta be playing 3 at the back again for me.
Yeah, I think we will.
Yeah, it works. Like, I know we've been going slightly different at home, but it worked the other day as well. Like, you got to persist with it. And the thing is as well, like, you've got to stick with a consistent back line as well. Like, you look at the season we went up, we had a consistent back line. Obviously, I know I've said that, and then I've gone Johnson, but at the same time, I would probably bring Naismith on, still in the game. Or, like I say, I could see it being Naismith again. But that's the thing as well. And I can't remember who it was. I think it might have actually been Naismith. He sort of said, about the struggles of, well, it might not have been Naismith, but either way, it was it was Naismith, wasn't it? Yeah. I thought it was, like, the consistent back line, and things like, I know we've had injuries and that, but he is not wrong there, to be fair. You do have to have consistency, especially in the back line. Like I say, you only have to look at the season we went up. I'll keep the same starting lineup as Saturday, apart from Cole for Wells. Yeah, fair enough, mate. Hopefully our season has kick-started now. My prediction 2-0. Yeah, there you go. The prediction you love, mate. They're both great. I like Bramall on the left. Yeah, he's got to at least be in the squad tomorrow now. I'll be honest, the Exeter game away, he wasn't too great, but free kicks, if we can get any of them, then we know what he's like at them. Would like to see Palmer with Cole, so Mick agrees with you there. Yeah, no, it certainly is, mate. It certainly is. And you look like some of the players we haven't even put in the squads recently, as in, like, Wilshere and that, and we've still, done fairly all right in terms of the home games and the Wickham game. Not really the 2 away games before that. But yeah, so yeah, like I say, big opportunity. Can we capitalise from the other day, Dad? Being at home now after the Reading disaster and win again at home and kick on.
Yeah, we should do. We should do. And I believe we will. It is the business end. With getting to the final of Virtue, I think helped us. Even though we lost to Reading, it was a good performance generally. We showed more fight in the away games. Particularly the Doncaster game, we had to do that. And they got some bad results, and we was talking about they pulled themselves out of that. And Port Vale have improved. The 0-0 with Huddersfield. So other teams are doing it. We're just we're not noticing it sometimes. But they are doing it. Look at Stockport; they were like second at one point. Dropped out of the playoffs. They've got 2 games in hand, but they're not too favourable. I think they're quite tricky from what I've looked at. So yeah, we haven't been consistent. That's the only issue. But at home we have. So yeah, I think we'll get a win. Just a standard 2-0 win. I think we'll get.
Yeah, nice. And players like Keeley, and obviously Hakeem, if he can continue the consistency, they deserve that. They will deserve a clean sheet. But yeah, like I say, I think it is a good opportunity, to capitalise on finally getting that away win. Now going into this Exeter game with them not winning since the 24th of January. Under new manager, I still haven't won. good opportunity for us, to bounce back after the Reading disaster, if you want to call it like that. So I'm going to say we win the game. I'm going to go 1-0. I think it will be a bit tight because I think the way they'll play, obviously they are down there, and they will be fighting for the points. So I'll say we will do it. I'll say it's one of them games where we win 1-0, but we maybe should have took more chances to win by more. But I'll say we will win this game 1-0. So that is my score prediction for this game. So yeah, other score predictions. Jackie's gone for her famous 2-1. Palmer and Morris, if he plays, yeah, I could see that, to be fair. Ben's gone 4-0, exactly what it was in the Virtue Trophy. That would be nice. That would be nice. 3-0, says Paul. Palmer, Walsh and Kadoa. Fair enough. Good goal scoring selections. So, yeah, exactly. Goal difference as well. You know,
we need to bang that up, yeah.
I don't want to disrespect Exeter, but like I say, with their form, this is a good opportunity to do that. Try and get them goal difference up, and they are poor away as well. They've only won one of their last 5.
We've had our biggest win in the league is probably 3-0 against Stockport. Well, I know
4-0 Wickham.
Yeah, but I think Stockport's the bigger result.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That's probably our best.
And the annoying thing is we didn't capitalise on that because they were top of the league that day. I remember. So yeah, no, I do agree. That was probably the biggest result this season, especially away. 2-0, says Harry. Yep, same as you, Dad. Yeah, that'd be nice. Palmer and Kadoa. Who's your 2 goal scorers, Dad?
Palmer and Cole.
Palmer and Cole.
Cole starts. He'll score in this game.
Yeah, I'm hoping he does. I'll go Palmer just to be on the safe side, because he has scored in the last 2 games to get our goal. ChatGPT said 2-1 to us, which I'll take, definitely. Jamie said 3-0 to us, so emphatic win for us. So hopefully that is the case. And I'll be honest, Jamie is not really confident a lot, so hopefully she's right. But she is right up there on the points, so hopefully that is the case and we can win comfortably. But yeah, we shall see. But we're all expecting a win, so let's not mess around. Let's get a win and let's try and build on it. Like I say, we can get a run going together. We can be right up there, especially with how inconsistent this league is. I mean, like I say, to think we're 5 points off anyway, with how the season's been.
Yeah, we've lost 14 games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think Huddersfield have lost more, maybe, or the same, one more, maybe, and Plymouth as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can still get in there, which is crazy. You could lose 18 games and still get in the playoffs. But next season, you could probably lose 20 games and get in the playoffs because they'll probably increase it to 8 like they have.
In the championship they are, yeah. Yep. No, exactly. So, yeah, like I say, I've only gone 1-0 just because, like, I just think the way they'll play, that obviously they're fighting for the points, so they're going to try and be a bit more defensive minded. Obviously, we expect to be on the ball. It's just breaking them down, really. But I think we will do that. Even if it's a, shot from distance. Like, that's what I think it'll probably be.
We need to mix it up a little bit. We can't, at home as well. We don't need to have. We'll have most of the possession, like I say, but be a bit more forward with it. Play them channel balls and things like that.
Like, even if we obviously we didn't really do the short goal kicks the other day. Like, if we can just just go forward, make them forward runs, and even if it's a stage where we're 0-0, just let Keeley kick it up there. Do you know what I mean? We need to do that. We need to definitely do that. Use the flanks more as well. I feel at periods we don't use it enough. I will be honest. And
Bramall's starting and Morris starting, then
you've got to,
you've got to be doing that.
I mean, Morris's pace. I mean, I say it every time, but it's ridiculous, really. And then Bramall, obviously, we've seen
pace as well.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a great cross as well, as we know. So, yeah, no, absolutely agree. So, yeah, we need to really, really capitalise on this. So, yeah, there is a lot of inconsistency throughout the whole league. But, yeah, thankfully, the teams below us, a lot of them ain't great. But, yeah, any final things, Dad, you want to say before we go?
No, looking forward to it. And then, the big game on Saturday.
So, yeah. little preview of the final, I guess that is.
and
So
potentially the playoffs in the way,
yeah,
be
you
it.
never know. Let's get a run going. Let's get a run going first. But yeah, no, I agree that will be good. And then, like I say, after that, you got another home game. I mean, that is that is a good opportunity, to try and get as many points as possible. Like just don't try not to lose any of them. To be honest, I think if we like say for example, I said it to you off air, Dad. If we can win this game, draw against Stockport, beat Peterborough, I'd take that. I probably would take that. To be fair, you know. And then we got the international break, so I just hope that ain't come at the wrong time of that period. But we'll see. We have to see what we do in these games first. So yeah, big up to everyone that's tuned in. As for content, I should be doing a watch along tomorrow. But if not, there will be a match reaction. I'm just trying to finalise actually being able to do the watch along at the White Hart pub where I've been doing this stuff. We're trying to get in a separate room to do it, and hopefully that will be where I'll be doing it the next 3 games because they're actually all on TV the next 3 games. So yeah, and I won't unfortunately be able to attend any of them. So yeah, we're just getting that done. But if not, there'll be a match reaction anyway. And also David and Mike are both going to the game, so they'll do a reaction there. And also it's David's birthday tomorrow. So hopefully we can get a birthday win for him. That'd be great. And yeah, hopefully we're talking positive and hopefully there's a bit more belief, that we can go on and hopefully get in the playoffs, despite having a really, really poor season, So let's see. Hopefully we can end it well. And, that all starts from, well, Wickham, but hopefully we can, follow it up now with the next 3 home games. So, yeah, big up to everyone that's tuned in. Don't forget to smash the like, subscribe, all of that. And, yeah, Ben says, great live, guys. See you tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Big up to yourself, Ben. Mark my words, Luton will finish 6th, like I said at the start of the season. Well, I hope you're right, mate. With our season, I'll definitely take that, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. I mean, it also helps our record, don't get me wrong, at Wickham. I think that also, but I said it. I think what also spurred us on is having Elijah in the squad. Like,
Yeah,
there was
yeah,
a boost with the players, boost with the fans. Like, it sort of reminded me, I said it in the reaction, when Lockyer obviously weren't in the squad, but when he come back against Brighton, you see how much that spurred everyone on. And I do think that is also another reason why we won that game as well. Because, he's been massive for the club, as we know, So, yeah, that's what I will say. So, yeah, big up to everyone. And, yeah, like I say, I will see you guys tomorrow. And we'll be back again on Friday to react to this game. Hopefully, we'll talk about another win. And then we can go into the Stockport game, the Hatters clash preview before the final. So, yeah, big up to everyone. Like I say, smash a like, subscribe, all that. Follow me across all my socials. I will see you guys tomorrow. And like I say, check out David and Mike's reaction from the ground as well. And yeah, keep an eye on the channel. If I am doing a watch along, I'll schedule it. But yeah, I will find out definitely for you guys before the game. So if you don't see me then you'll see me after the game anyway. So yeah, big up to everyone. All of that. Take care and peace. Come on, Luton. Let's win again.